My name is Will Watson, visual artist. You can check out my work at www.willwatsonart.com. That's my website. Whenever I get a chance to share my story, I always start with the beginning and just how I got started with art itself. And I tell people I was probably about 4 or 5 years old, and I remember I was pretty much raised by my grandparents. I was at my grandmother's house in my room at my little round Fisher-Price table, little red table, orange, yellow chair, and I'm sitting there trying to draw Batman. And I'm sitting there and I'm drawing, I can't do it, ball of piece of paper. So paper after paper, I'm just, I can't do it. Now I'm mad. Oh, man, I can't draw Batman. I'm running around the house, man, I'm mad. I can't do it. So my grandmother, being the loving, caring person that she is, but she, you know, still would drop one on me if I got out of line, kind of say, hey, what are you doing? Why are you running around my house acting all crazy? I can't do it, Grandma. I'm trying to draw Batman, and I can't do it. I'm mad. I can't do it. So her being the caring person she is, she looked at me, kind of looked at me with this look. I'm 5, remember, I'm 5. And to this day, I don't know why I remember this story, but I do. She took me back in the room and sat me down and said, baby, I want you to take the word can't out of your vocabulary. You can do anything you put your mind to. And she sat down with me. She said, what's Batman look like? I said, he has like a square, maybe rectangle head, 2 triangles on his ears, the mouth, and little oval-shaped eyes. And I started describing what Batman looked like to her. And my grandmother, who's not an artist, she sat there and she drew Batman. And I'm blown away. From that moment on, I'm just like, oh my gosh, Grandma drew Batman. And she was like, you can do anything you put your mind to. Take that word can't out of your vocabulary. I don't ever want to hear you say you can't do something ever again. And from that moment on, that's where it started. So art has pretty much always been a part of my life, from a young kid all the way up until now. Went to Mary Castle Elementary School. I remember doing little art contests and stuff there. I think people who remember me from elementary school remember me from this little Frankenstein bookmark that I made that was like just real famous in the school or whatever. I don't know, whatever. But I remember them posting it up, and I never wanted to play sports. I remember going to the Boys and Girls Club over there, the Wheeler Boys and Girls Club, and instead of going to play basketball, because I was a lot taller than a lot of people my age, I would want to go to the art room. And I don't remember, but my parents and stuff, they tell me that I won some contest there, which is kind of cool because I don't remember that. And then just like middle school, high school, just art has just always just been a part of my life. And in like the last few years of my high school education, I had a teacher by the name of Bradley Holmes, who he pretty much like just took me in, mentored me a lot. And he was actually the one who helped me fill out my college application, helped me get into IUPUI, Herron School of Art and Design. And that's when all the real stories began. Freshman year, IUPUI, I was a little cool art kid, but I didn't really want people to know that I was a art kid because I thought art kids at that school were kind of nerdy and weird, and I didn't really identify with them much. So I didn't really let people know that that's what I was doing. I was partying, having a good time, and first semester of my freshman year, I ended up with a 1.7 GPA. Yeah. So they sent that nice little pink and yellow slip home to my grandparents, and me and my grandfather have the exact same first, last name, and middle initial. So my grandmother, thinking that that's his mail, opens that letter. And when I get home, it's like, uh-oh. So she's like, you want to explain this? And I'm just like, I don't know what to say. She's like, you got to change this. So from that point on, after just seeing the disappointment in everybody in my family's face, because, you know, if grandma knows, mama knows, daddy knows, aunties, cousins, great aunts, everybody in the family knew that I was messing up in school. So I'm getting phone calls daily like, you need to get your stuff together, you know, you can't make it without an education. Long story short, I ended up gritting my teeth, even though I like hated every moment of my experience at Heron. I didn't like it. I didn't like being the only black kid in my class. I didn't like that. I didn't like how cruel people were during critiques. I didn't like, you know, one of my professors actually threw away one of my paintings, which is actually now like one of my most adored pieces. People love this painting. And it has so much history because it's been in the trash. It fell off of a car and broke, and then I had to put it back together. And but I hated the things that were happening to me, but I still fought through all of those things, made some friends, learned a little bit of something, and graduated with a 3.0 from a 1.7. So like after I graduated, I was just like, yeah, I hate art. I don't want to do anything with art. I don't want to touch a paintbrush, a pencil, a crayon, nothing. I don't want to do it. But as time went on, I got a job and I was working full time. You know, just enjoying like the 9-to-5 life and doing that whole thing, and I started to miss it. I started to miss it like crazy. And it wasn't until I got commissioned to paint a food truck. My best friend's aunt asked me to paint their food truck for their business that they have up in Kokomo. And I did that, and I was just like, man, I like this. This is cool. I'm starting to get this flow again, and I'm starting to draw a lot more, and then I'm starting to get like other people want me to do stuff, and from that, and I'm just like, man. Then somebody one day was just like, hey, you should sign up for this raw artist thing. I'm like, what is it? And she was just like, I don't know, Google it. So I Googled it, and I was just like, why not? I signed up for it. This is all last year, 2012. I signed up for it. August, I had a show. Excuse me. I had to sneeze. August, I had a show. That show went exceptionally well. I got like great feedback. I'm taking a lot of those pieces that I made in college, those pieces that everybody was like, well, I don't really like this, and maybe you should have did something different here. All of those pieces that I did in college. I took to this show, and everyone was like, I love this stuff. Where can I see more of this? And oh, wow. So I did that show, and I felt great. Like, nobody's ever really made me feel that awesome about my artwork before, because I was used to people talking so negatively about it, and people like, yeah, it's all right, you know, it's cool, to being like, oh, wow, this work is really cool. This is really good. We like this. From August, then September, I did like a show in Chicago, and then I did one in Cincinnati. And I was like, man, I'm really doing this. Like, wow. I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. I quit my job. I quit my job. I was like, you know what? I'm about to just take this thing head on. Let's do this. And that was really just me stepping out on faith and just saying, like, look, God, I don't know. You gave me this gift. I spent 5 years in college. 5, I took a victory lap. I spent 5 years in college doing this, and I don't see myself working behind a desk, not using this gift you gave me. So I ended up leaving my job. I was working as a life coach. Ironically, I'm 24 trying to figure out life. And I'm working as a life coach trying to help people get their lives together. So I ended up leaving that job as a life coach to try to figure out my own life. Ended up getting a part-time job, and just from there, just everything was just blown up. I started getting like calls for shows and commissions, and social network sites have been like my greatest tool, and just everything has just been like times 10. Like, I can't even explain the response my work has been getting since that moment. Since that moment, I decided that, you know what, this is my calling. This is a part of my passion. I can't run from this. I have to go for it. I have to try to live this out. And since that moment, like, everything has just been, you know, progressing. Granted, times, you know, there are some tough times when you gotta like, oh, I don't have no money this month. Lord, where's it gonna come from? But you know, somehow, some way, it's been working out. And like I tell people all the time, this is only the beginning of my journey. I too have been on indie style TV with the Raw. I've had an opportunity to do some showcases out of town and travel and whatnot with my work. And do a lot of shows. Like, just the exposure has been just great. I feel like I'm rambling now, but this is still the beginning. So like, my journey is nowhere near being over, because like I'm really just a year and a few months into being a professional artist. She asked me earlier if I was a full-time artist. I said, no, I wish. I still had to get a part-time job just to be able to pay some of my bills. But having a part-time job has just opened up a lot more time to actually do some work. But yeah, everything is going well, and I can't wait for what's next in this journey. So that's me. That's my story a little bit. I gave y'all the brief version because I could sit up here and talk forever.